In the case of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, we're starting to see how a concocted fantasy was really the driving force behind the murder of Dee Dee Blanchard. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, I'll give you a quick breakdown. Into the Weeds podcast on YouTube did the FOIA request. The reason that they were able to get the FOIA request done now, almost 10 years after the murder, is because Nicholas Godejohn, the accomplice to the murder of Dee Dee Blanchard, has submitted every plea deal that he possibly can, and he is now serving his sentence, his final sentence. I just got done watching the first part of the Into the Weeds podcast that was posted 3 weeks ago. I have a lot of takeaways. The videos and things that they're posting on this podcast are out of order, and they explain that the reason that they're out of order is because there's so much footage. They were sent hours and hours and hours and hours of footage, and it's way too difficult to try to get into chronological order. It's also the fact that there's a lot of explicit content that they cannot share online in a adult manner, which props to them, because they even come out and they're like, listen, we cannot share this, like, even though we don't like this person, even though this person's character is being called into question, even though this person's a liar and a murderer, it's still not cool to share nude images or nudity of any kind unconsensually with every person on the internet. The first episode, we're being shown that there is a manipulation tactic that Gypsy is using through altars. Demona comes through, and Demona is slutty, Demona is a liar, Demona is a thief, Demona is a harlot, essentially. And she uses this seductive prowess towards Godejohn to fulfill his fantasies, but there's other fantasies that are being put in play. Now, these personas that they have, both of them have these altars that are present. And they say that these altars are used for BDSM and other alternative purposes. But the thing that really stuck out to me was Demona saying that she can kill anyone. She can harm anyone. The only people that she cannot do that to are Gypsy, Gypsy's mother, and Nick, of course. On other clips and things that have been shared online, we're also starting to see that Gypsy was under a lot of stress, financial pressure. She was even saying to Godejohn or Nick or Dark Master or whatever the fuck his name is on that date and time, that there were different ways that she could go about getting money. She could just sleep with men, bash them over the head, take their wallet. I mean, Demona was really going in and being real hard about it. One of the things that I also want to point out to you is that Gypsy was saying that there was this line of starvation, that she was starved for years. She had this feeding tube. She was addicted to sugar. That's why all of her teeth rotted out, her saliva glands. She had all these medical issues, and she was having to use a G-tube. In these videos, there's no G-tube present. These videos at the time, I believe, were made in between 2013 and 2014, up to 2 years before the murder of her mother. And in these videos, she looks healthy. She's belly dancing, she's in lingerie, she's wearing different dresses, she has muscle tone, and including in this would be the plot eventually of killing Gypsy's mother. One of the things that I also want to point out to you is that Gypsy said that her mother was completely overbearing, obsessively abusive, kept her confined, starved her, locked her, made her a prisoner within her own home, within her own body. However, in these videos, this girl is traipsing all over the house. She's in the bathroom, she's in the living room, she's in her bedroom, she's everywhere. So where the hell was Dee Dee? Because Gypsy was not speaking in low tones. She was not like trying to not get caught. She was as loud as I'm being right now, full chest out there, just speaking her mind. There are a lot of different theories about this situation. Dee Dee could have been possibly addicted to narcotics or sleeping pills, or she could have been taking medication that could have made her tired. La 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 la. One of the things that I think that might have been happening is the possibility that Gypsy Rose Blanchard herself was also into the Munchausen's by proxy issue as soon as she heard that her mother was ill. This is a learned pattern of behavior, and so is manipulation. There are earlier videos that have surfaced online of Gypsy who would suddenly stop walking because she wanted the attention from her mother. There are videos and admissions from different people that were around Gypsy Rose who had seen her use her legs for years, but she knew in some cognitive way that if she didn't walk and she was so sickly, she could have gotten more positive attention. Of course, this was reinforced with different trips to Disney World, Disney cruises, the ability to be able to speak and sing in front of people. And people have also made comments about this, that she was such a bright young girl and she was so mature and she could just speak to an audience of people like it was nothing. Now the age also comes up in some of these videos and clips. Her age, the fact that she didn't know how old she actually was, but confirming how old she actually is to Nicholas Godejohn in these videos. Me and my opinion so far, because I have more to go, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was a willing and competent and conscious accomplice to this entire situation. And the fact that she was released early on good behavior, good faith, and all of these other positive factors is a load of bullshit. And it completely explains how the investigators, the judges, and anyone else that looked over her case were handling her. We all saw it as people being too bold, or people being abusive, or people being too assertive, or people being mean, when in reality, the people that were the professionals knew what they were dealing with. They were dealing with a criminal. They were dealing with a murderer. And you don't want to be nice to those kinds of people because they can manipulate you and make you do things that you wouldn't otherwise do, just as she had with Nicholas Godejohn. Now, don't forget, if you like content like this, go ahead and click all these buttons. Make sure you drop your comment down below. How do you feel about the sudden revelations in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case? I hope you have a beautiful day. Please stay blessed, stay happy, stay safe, and stay full. And please, for the love of God, remember not to shit your pants. And I'll talk to you later.